Good afternoon. And last Saturday, we talked about CP 2000, right? CP 2000 is a matching notice where IRS thinks their system matches to your tax return, concluded that what they see on their side is different than what you give them. So you're getting CP 2000. They're asking you for more money to pay, and you are wondering, wow, I am being audited. No, you're not being audited. Of course, it can turn into an audit, right? But you are being reviewed by their machine, and you're getting a CP 2000. So today, follow up on our Saturday webinar, and we want to talk about the rest of the forms and notices, the common ones. What do you see? And we also want to show you how to understand it. And if you say that, Ying, I got this thing, I don't even know what it is, why am I getting it? Then you can actually search IRS website to find the answer. So this is what we're going to do today. Let me share my screen. There are people literally going to tell you that, oh, I was joking. Why are you taking my word seriously? Of course, we don't joke around here. We don't have a lot of entertainment, but what we have here is really, we have done our research. This is our understanding. Sometimes contents are outdated, and so they're incorrect. And sometimes our understanding was clouded by circumstances, so it could be not complete understanding or even correct understanding. But all of that is just to say you want to take responsibility and learn it responsibly, right? So now let's go through our common IRS notice, folks. And you have seen my information. If you visit our website, our webinar all the time, and every time I come on website, I want to tell the new listeners about us. And this is my information, and I serve on National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel, a federal advisory committee to IRS. And of course, there is my email. You can reach me directly. Yes, I read my own email, and I do have 1,000 or so email a day, but I do read them all. So you email me, I am there. And of course, my first book written back in 2019, I'm working on the 10 a.m., still working, no kidding. It just takes so much time, and it's much longer than having a child for 9 months. So the book is more laborsome than a child. All right, and for more information, our website, communitycpa.com, and the YouTube channel, Community CPA. And then, of course, we have Facebook page, Twitter page, and we are a CPA firm. We do provide accounting, payroll, audit, tax, and estate planning business consultation. If you are like, oh, I didn't know you were doing that, now here you know, and we do provide the full-blown CPA firm services. And the responsibility disclaimer, I talked about that already. And so now, let's say, why was I notified by IRS? The common reason you get a letter and you get this IRS logo letter, and it's because you have a balance due, or you due to a larger or smaller refund, but the IRS are sending you, or maybe your bank account is wrong, they couldn't really deposit for you, or IRS has questions about your tax return. They felt like your tuition claim was way too high. They don't believe that you paid $50,000-$60,000 tuition fee to your child's school. They want you to prove that you actually made that money. Or they felt like your tax return is not correct. Maybe someone was using your identity, and your home address is Minnesota, but your W-2 is coming from Nevada. They are just wondering whether that's correct, right? And or they need information, they need additional information from you, and or even your social security number wasn't really right. There was one number got switch. They want to make sure that is you filing, or they change your tax return, going that's not right, and they need to notify you that they changed your return, right? Or they notify you they're processing your return late. So IRS is trying to communicate with you on everything they made to and for you on your account. Of course, these are the common notice, so common that the reason we have these ones is because we see them a lot. And we see those notices coming around to our clients, so we just want to bring it up to you. And sometimes you wonder, oh, Ying, when I receive the letter or notice, and I didn't know what that is there a way I know where I can find the notice? Let's say if I got CP10, and I just want to know in what cases I would send that out. Where do I find that? And I'll show you that for sure. But right now, let's just look at the common one. Adjustment to your next year's estimated tax. What does that mean? That means, let's say in 2021, you just filed a tax return, right? And you owed $1 million tax. And then IRS was going to tell you, no, you cannot be paying $100,000 a quarter on your estimated tax. You need to pay $250,000 a quarter. So that is what they called changes to your next year's estimated tax. We receive that, taxpayer receive that a lot. That's not a threatening notice. It is just notice to tell you that, hey, you need to pay more estimated tax, right? And I would recommend you to pay what they're asking you to pay. If you overpay, you get it back. But if you underpaid, you get penalized. So you want to do it what they're asking you so you don't get penalized, right? CP11 is additional tax due. Well, you think you owe $3,000, but IRS did their calculation. Look at your tax return, goes, no, you do $3,005. So they give you that $5 notice. That's a CP11. 23 is estimated tax amount was wrong, due more taxes. So you know how you file taxes and you put in your estimated tax amount. You're saying that, hey, I know I owe $100,000, but I already paid estimated for $100,000, so I owe zero. However, the IRS would say that, oops, your estimated amount not $100,000 was only $75,000. And a lot of times, do you know what happens? When you send in the estimate, you put in the wrong year. Or the processor put in the wrong year when they receive your check. So I always recommend our folks to go online to pay estimated tax and make the choices by the drop-down menu. Then that will eliminating some of those mistakes. And we literally have clients thinking they lost $18,000 because the IRS applied $18,000 not to 2021, they applied to 2018. So that is something that you really want to make sure when you pay estimate tax, you want to be careful. Don't put in the wrong year. But when you put that number on your tax return, you want to have all your proofs. Knows that these are real numbers you put in. Otherwise, they give you CP23, ask you for a different amount. And, CP24 is like a reversal of 23. Yes, you are wrong, but you're getting more refund because you paid a lot more estimated tax than what you think you did. So those two are kind of like sister brothers, right? They're the same thing related to the estimated tax, but one is overpaid, one is underpaid. These are by far the most notice the taxpayer getting. And CP54G, this is a special one. This one is actually a serious one because they cannot match your social security number with the tax you filed. So SSN and the tax does not match. That is a big problem. So when you receive that, you really need to go back to the source. Whoever issued the tax data, maybe your bank was issued 1098, maybe it is your vendor, the contractor who contracted you got your social security number wrong, and maybe it is your mortgage company, and maybe it is your school, whatever that is, it is the source data at IRS doesn't match to your tax data. And the CP 161, balance due not paid. You had a balance due, you're not paying, so you should be expecting that 161. CP 2000, we talked about that on Saturday, didn't we? We talked about how that is machine generated, how they match the third party data with your data. And if you put it in a wrong number, the third party says you made $100,000, but you put in 10,000, then the CP 2000 will come out. And in our Saturday webinar, we even showed you what it looks like and how we resolve that. And you can get such a big notice, but at the end you get $35 refund back instead of paying $93,000 taxes, right? So CP 2000 is really not an audit, but it is a change IRS proposed to you. So you want to answer within how many days, folks? 30 days. 30, right? And the 30 days is a magic date. There's a lot of notices give you 30 days. So as soon as you receive CP 2000, you should start marching to our office or start sitting down on your desk, get everything prepared. But don't ignore it. Because if you ignore, assessment will come in as a real, and then they file lien, then they garnish your wages, and things can come up. So you don't ignore it, okay? CP 2501 is income reported does not match to IRS. This is a particular letter that they just focus on your income. So they focus on what type of income. For example, 1099 NEC, 1099 INT. Those incomes doesn't match, and what you reported is not what IRS has. A lot of times, I see these 2501 coming in with a merchant account notice. So PayPal and is one of them. Amazon is one of them. When they issue 1099K to you, that doesn't match to what you do. And let me tell you why it doesn't match. Sometimes they already took the commission out, sometimes they don't. So if they issue your 1099 miscellaneous income with commission included, your real receipt is only 500,000, but they have $1 million on there. And these 1099 miscellaneous is very misleading to IRS, so they don't really know. They just look at your 500,000 that you reported on Schedule C, goes, no, you should report for $1 million. But they don't understand that you did not subtract the commission, because you can put in $1 million, subtract commission, you still come up with 500,000, right? But this is where the confusion would come. It is just an imperfection of our system, like different vendor system and our tax system. So you just need to be aware of that. Make sure you only report to IRS on the income line that matches to your third party people, instead of netting them out. You don't net them out, right? And the CP 2005, if you get that, that just means, okay, problem resolved, you're good. And we get that letters a lot as well. So make sure that you understand these are common ones, not threatening, and it's very informative. And I just want you to know that, consider, if you are in business, consider IRS notice is part of your business. And don't have that negative feeling towards it, because if you have fears, anxieties, and needing pills to get over with this, that's not healthy. That probably says that you're not mature enough to become an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you really do have to have the stomach to take whatever is there. Look at Donald Trump, okay? He has a big stomach because he can take a lot of pressures coming from all over the place. He still claims that the election is stolen. And even though everywhere in the universe proves that he is wrong. But I'm just making a point to say that if you don't have that kind of thick skin, you're not going to be able to survive in the business world. So if you are the kind of person receiving IRS notice, then just put in the shoebox and they're waiting to come to me, and come to Ying, give me a box with a pretty lace tied on it. Inside is IRS notice. Boy, I think I need to take you for yoga, or we do some counseling instead of tax services, right? And so that's really what we need to learn from these webinars. You learn knowledge, so next time you see CP10, you're like, no big deal. I know what to do, right? All right. And there's many different types of notices that send out pertaining to business. And you can refer IRS website under notices and letters, and or contact your accountant and the legal advisors. And by the way, we do have attorneys in our firm, so we do provide legal services. However, our legal services is very focused on business. We don't do any other kind of litigation, but taxes related, business contract related, partnership dispute related, that kind of legal services. And when you receive the letter, what do you do? When I wrote this one down, I think it was kind of crazy. And, everybody will say that, who doesn't know that? But I still want to say that read. And what I really discovered is for people, the English is a second language, and sometimes they don't speak good English, but they actually have a very good reading skills. And there's a lot of immigrants are that way, but you also have some immigrants who are not educated from their home country. They don't even read their own languages really well. When they come to U.S., they would be the kind of people that do not read. They couldn't really focus on the letter, making the sound and getting the understanding. They just don't read. But if you are that way, and I'm not saying that if you don't read, you cannot be a super entrepreneur. Absolutely wrong. And the people who doesn't read can become a super entrepreneur as well. And I won't give you example. If I give you example, I would be putting that person down. But I have very successful business owners who doesn't not to say read English. They don't even speak much English. So that's really, it's really a condition that's acceptable. But we still want to say that you want to read the letter. And especially if you are like me in this industry, if you are a CFO at your company and you are the accountant at the company, or you are a accountant just like to watch our webinars to learn, and you actually work for another CPA firm, let me tell you that the letters and notices, you cannot get unlimited read because they're very limited. If you read a letter from the right corner to the left corner every pages, and you just need to read it 2 times, then next time you see that letter, you already know what's going on in there. So I want to tell you that you just read, and that's really important, all right? And respond timely. Remember, CP 2000 is 30 days. The letter will tell you how long they give you to respond. Always notice the letter date, and your envelope receive date is also important, and make sure you respond timely. If you owe, I would recommend you to pay. If you cannot pay, don't pay. Then you need to have a plan. Maybe you're looking at calling IRS, abate your penalty, or maybe you're looking at offering compromise. All of these is a bargain chips, right? You can bargain if you have a real good reason. For example, we just had a client owe $65,000. This is not the federal. It's related to the state. And we look at the notices. The client don't know why he owed that. Then find out that 10 years ago, he had applied for the sales permit and never really canceled. So there was assessment assessed 10 years ago. So with time, had interest and the penalty accumulated to be $65,000. So of course, in this case, you don't pay, and you go back to talk to the state and file 0 for that 2008 return, and then everything will disappear. So it is really, you pay, yes, if you owe, but if you don't rush to pay, right? And in some cases, we tell our client that go ahead, pay it, then we can debate on the penalty, but I want them to get the actual amount they owed paid. So it's something that you need to discuss with your CPA and with people who handles your book carefully. And retain, you want to keep the letter. Keep the letter, keep whatever you send out. And also, if you called or talked to someone, do you know that you need to take down that ID of the person who spoke with you on the phone? That is so important. Sometimes that person would give you wrong advice. If you act on the wrong advice, and then IRS will forgive you for that, because they want you to provide them when and where and who you talk to. And then if you did wrong based on IRS advice, then the wrong you do can be rectified, and you can actually reduce your penalty and do it right. And so there's reason why you want to write down their ID, right? Of course, if you relied on professional firms, things were done wrong, then every professional firm has professional liability insurance if it is really wrong, and those insurance companies will come to take care of you, right? So you just want to understand to keep contact, keep a record of who you were talking to, when and how, and make sure that you take care of the letter. Don't ignore it, right? And a payment. Always keep a copy of your payment. And if you paid but have not been credited to your account, you can send a copy, and with the front and the back, the check copy, the canceled check as approved, okay? And if you paid through EFTPS, you can send them a copy of the transaction. That includes that confirmation letter. If your payment has been lost and stolen, the notice will tell you what actions to take. If you make quarterly estimated payment, review your calculation and make adjustment as needed, right? So this payment is important, and you need to keep track of what you did. CP2000, again, this is kind of echo back to what we talked about on last Saturday. If you search my website, you'll find that. And this is a matching notice. Say that my data, IRS says, my data doesn't match with your data. And you need to figure out why, and I have so much more income and you don't. So this is something that it is not an audit, but can become an audit for sure. So you want to reply to them really quickly, and they give you 30 days, but do it in 10 days, okay? Don't always wait things to the last minute. It is possible this kind of thing would lead into audit, and you don't want to be audited, okay? And now let me lead you to IRS website, because we talk about all these CP letters and 24, 23, and let's say you got a letter. You just don't know what that is, and you want to know. And all you need to do is to type in the letter number. So let's say we say CP10. Remember, that was the first one we were looking at. So I'm looking for CP10. So it will give me, the IRS will say, understanding your CP10 notice. Okay, they have individual information, general information. It says that CP10 tells you, we made changes to your return because we believe there is a miscalculation. These changes affected estimated tax payment you wanted applied to your taxes for next year. So the IRS actually tells you that your estimated taxes was changed. So it will affect you to next year. That's why they give you this letter. So these are informative letters. Otherwise, how can your tax preparer do your tax right? Correct? So this is a place you come to IRS. You can definitely come in to do search on the form. Then that will give you the right answer. So if I do CP2000, I don't know what is CP2000, and it will tell you, understanding your CP2000 notice, right? So this is your tool, folks. And if you don't utilize the IRS website for your research and for your understanding of federal taxes, it is a shame, because this is a free resources, and they're really improving the site literally every day, if it is not every minute, right? And they're doing the improvement, trying to be taxpayer friendly. There is a slogan goes on within IRS called taxpayer first. That is what they really trying to do. As a leadership on the top, they want IRS to be the servant of all the taxpayers. So help you to pay taxes, help you to save taxes, help the government to collect the revenue properly, right? So this is the function of IRS, and of course, Community CPA is working with IRS so much day in, day out, so we truly understand how their work, how important their work is, and we also understand what kind of fear our taxpayers have towards to that big machine. And a lot of immigrants coming to U.S., when they file their taxes for the first time, it is truly the first time they ever paid money to the government, because a lot of them have a corrupt government. They don't pay taxes anyway. They haven't even heard of taxes from those war-torn government, right? So, it's really a thing that is foreign. But we know that it's foreign, so we're here trying to bring that familiarities and trying to make you understand what we understand. And if you don't have trouble with IRS, the life is simple. And we want you to run your business so smoothly, you never ever see a notice from IRS. And the people who does data match service with our firm, when we file their taxes, we do data match first. When we do that, we don't see notices for these taxpayers. So we have a lot of business people are working with us and using this tool we have in our firm to match the data first, so we don't get CP 2000. If you don't get CP 2000, there you go. You already reduce a huge amount of risk to be audited. And if you match data, you're also not going to have the other notices coming through because things will be matched. We will know how much you have paid for estimated taxes. We will know what kind of income you would report, right? So all of these are connected. So consider from now and subscribe to our data match service. And our data match service, it has been in existence for at least 20 years. So it's not a new invention. It's not fashionable things. It is just an experience that we knew. If we do that for you and you walk away from notices. All right. And this is my Tuesday, and I will see you on Saturday. And folks, do you know what I do on Saturday, this Saturday? Let me tell you. And businesses are hard to run. And the people go, oh, I think 2020 was hard, but actually 2021 was harder. And now people saying 2021 was hard, but 2022 is even harder. It's hardest. Hopefully it's hardest, right? We don't know for sure, but their business are struggling. And on Saturday, we're talking about closing business. If you close your business, what happens to your PPP, the money you got? What happens to your RF, the money you got? What happens to your ERC you haven't really got, but you are getting it? And what happens to all these federal and state grants that you got in 2020 and 2021? Do you have to pay back? So to get that answered, and I want you to spread the word, and we are going to talk about that on Saturday. See you on Saturday. Bye-bye.